Hello everyone, it's Amy and welcome back for day 5 of Crafting Along with Sonya. And this is part 1 of day 5. It'll probably be 2 parts. But what we're going to do today is we're going to finish up yesterday's. And so the one that I sewed on, I just went ahead and pinned that on to this page, and because that's the way Sonya was putting them on, and I think that's a really cool idea. And what I did, because I love this page and I love the look of the tissue paper on top of the Ebru dyed paper that I had made, because it just kind of mutes it down, and I just love that. So I pinned those 2 pages together when I put that pin in, so now that will stay that way when you open it up. And then we have our tag in our pocket, and then the other one that I sewed on, I just went ahead and I glued the bottom half of it onto this page so that I could use it as a little tuck spot. And then I took a few of my little inchies and just tucked those in there. So that was what I did with that. And on the back of the inchies, I glued some of my eco-dried paper, and this piece was a cut off, and I thought, well, that would be cute to make a little book to put in here. And I wanted to try, I saw these as I was going through all of my things, and this is something that you do with permanent markers. And so I thought that maybe we would try that. Don't know how it's going to work on here, but we're going to try it. And I want to draw a circle. Just draw it lightly with a pencil so that I can, so I have a guide. And then what I'm going to do is I have this little bottle of rubbing alcohol. This was an eyedropper bottle. I peeled the label off. Excuse me. And so that it wouldn't look like it was eye drops. If you're going to put anything in an eyedropper bottle, if you can't get the label off, I would suggest not using it. If you can get the label off, then you can use it and mark it with whatever you have inside. But I wouldn't don't leave the label on and put something different inside, because somebody could hurt themselves. But what I did was, a long time ago, I saw they had some markers, I forget what they're called, oh, chameleon markers. And they had this special tube that they would put on top of their marker, and they would let it sit for 5 to 10 seconds, and then it would basically take the color out of the marker, and the color would come back slowly. And I thought, well, alcohol markers are alcohol. Rubbing alcohol would take the color out. I hope I have some in there. And let me just see if that worked. And that did not work, so let's try that again. And it's just a matter of letting the rubbing alcohol soak into your marker, and then what it does is it takes the color away, and then slowly the color starts coming back. So they held it for about 10 seconds. I have no idea how long I've held it here, but it's probably about 10 seconds. So let's try that again and see how that worked. Okay, see, now I have no color. And so I'm just starting to get a little color. And I'm just going to color this on here. And then as you go, you wind up getting more color, because this is such a small circle. I want to kind of make sure that I'm getting the color just lightly before I go too far. And as the color starts soaking down the nib, then you start getting a bit of a darker color. And I think I held it on there a little bit too long. Do I have any color coming out? Not yet. So I'm going to do this till I get just a little bit of color coming out. And because I held it on there so long, that alcohol soaked in quite a ways. Okay, now I'm starting to get some color. So now I'm going to start here at the top. And then just continue. And then the further down that you go, the darker your marker gets. Oh, and it might work good instead of using a pencil to draw the circle. Use your marker to draw the circle, and then you won't have the pencil line around there. And there we go. So now the top of this is quite wet. It's not going to be quite as dark as what it shows, but it just gets darker as you go along. So you just get that gradient color, and it's just kind of a fun thing to do. So let's see, what colors did we have on that other page? How about a green? Let's try green. And again, I'm just going to put my marker right on the edge of that. 1001, 1002, 1003. Hold it there for, let's say, maybe about 8 seconds. And then we'll try it on a scrap paper to see if it's kind of taken the color away. And it has. Oops, I forgot to draw a circle. Oh, what am I going to do now? I don't even see my thing. Try and make this quick because that ink will still be soaking through. And so just slowly go. Now the thing is that you kind of want to go back and forth and make sure that you get it colored in, because the color gets darker and darker as you go, and so you can't go back up without putting the darker color on the top part of your circle. So you do want to make sure that you just keep going from one side to from the top to the bottom without going back up again. And so there we go. Now we have the gradient green color. So that's really kind of cool. And then what about, really quickly, try another one right here. And that bell was Papa, so I'll have to go in a minute, but I actually have a little bit of time, because I just need to take him his clothes. He's in the shower. Okay, maybe that was too much information. Okay, let's see if we got our color out of that one. Not quite. Well, not getting it this time. I'm not holding it long enough. Okay. All right, and I'm going to start with my lightest color up here. And I probably should have held this one just a little bit longer, and it would have got a little bit lighter. And so there we go. So that's just a fun thing to play with. Don't use your really good markers. You know, I don't know how much that will affect them, but they're made with alcohol, so that's why they work this way. And so I thought that would be a fun thing to make just as a little tuck right in there. And then on the next page, I really loved the look of this little bow. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to use tacky glue this time, so I don't have to fight with the Fabri-Tac. And I'm going to glue this right across the top of the page. And that's a lot too much glue. There we go. And I'm going underneath where the bow is folded so that you don't see the glue on the two little parts that stick out. And also on the top of this page, I had a little bit of glue from when I was gluing over here, when I was gluing the lace. So this will cover that up also. So there we go. Now, I didn't put glue here, so see, you can't see the glue soaking through. But sometimes on ribbon, whoops, especially if you use something like tacky glue, you can see the glue through the ribbon. Now this one's not showing up too bad, so that's good. But that's why I put it just under the bow part, because then you wouldn't see it if it soaked through. And then when we close this page, we see that bow across the top. So I thought that was really quite pretty. And then Sonya made some tea bags and some leaves. She tucked it into some skeleton leaves, and I can't find mine. I know I have some. But so what I did was I just took a regular leaf off an artificial flower, a little bit of white paint on my finger, and I just rubbed it on there like this. And so it showed the little veins in that leaf. So I don't have a skeleton leaf, but I found something else that will work just as well. And then she put them on her page as a tuck for her little tea bags that she made. And we're going to make the tea bags in part 2, so we'll put the tuck on here right now while we still have just a little bit of time. I'm just going to glue them at the bottom so that we can tuck into the different areas if we want to tuck more than one thing. And if they're sticking up a little bit too much, I can always go back and put in a little bit more glue. Oops, wrong side. And so I did that. These are just some different leaves that I collected out of my flower box. Just pulled them off the flowers and put a little bit of white paint on there. Whoops. Well, that didn't work very good. So we're going to put those on there like that, and maybe, do I want to glue that one down? Then I could tuck something over here, and I think I'll glue the little point of this one down also. Or just glue the whole leaf down. And then I can tuck into both sides and the middle at the top. And that will just make it a little sturdier. So now we can tuck something in here, here, or here. And this little one right here will hold it all together. So there we go. Now we have our leaves on there, and all we have to do is make our tea bag. And I'm going to do the tea bag in part 2. So I'll be back for part 2. Thank you very much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it, and I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.